Welcome to our first ever YouTube Q&A episode. This is where we answer fan questions on fitness, nutrition, pretty much whatever here on YouTube. You get that there, Justin?
I got it.
Excellent. So what is the first question? What do we have here? What are we going to answer?
When bulking, does meal timing matter? If you eat most of your calories before bedtime and you train in the morning, does that affect your progress or gaining lean tissue?
Meal timing. Oh, this is a good one.
No, it's a good one. We just
a lot of myths surrounding this.
And you wrote a blog back in 2016 regarding this myth. I just did a post the other day to drive towards that blog. We'll make sure that we put the blog and the link for those that want more detail in the science. But meal timing is something that's been a long time myth, especially in the bodybuilding industry or the bodybuilding circuit. There is some relevance to it when you're talking about sports and athletes and glycogen and making sure that they're getting enough carbohydrates before they go do a sport. But for the average person who's trying to lose body fat or build muscle, it's pretty much moot.
It is. It's one of those things that doesn't make that big of a difference, and for most people it makes no difference whatsoever. So one of the biggest myths surrounding meal timing is, does eating small meals throughout the day burn more body fat? Now, when I was a trainer back in the day, or when I first became a trainer, we were taught that if you ate small meals throughout the day, you would burn more body fat than if you ate, fewer but larger meals.
Because of the thermogenic effect of food. And
That-
that was
that-
what they're banking on.
That was the adage. The old adage was, eating small meals throughout the day kept the fire of the metabolism stoked, sped up the metabolism, you burn more calories, therefore you burn more body fat. Now, this was based on some science that showed that eating creates what's called a thermic effect. Every time you eat, your metabolic rate does amplify a little bit through the process of digestion and assimilation. Now, that thermic effect, what they didn't say in those studies, and what we now know, is that thermic effect actually matches the size of the meal. So if I have 6 small meals a day, I get 6 small thermic effects. If I get 2 large meals, I have 2 large thermic effects, the net thermic effect being the same. In fact, some science actually suggests that less frequent meals may actually be more beneficial. But again, we're splitting hairs here. It really doesn't make that big of a difference.
That dispels the small meals, but what about meal timing for blood sugar,
Recovery.
insulin, recovery, optimizing your lip, like things like that?
So here's what's interesting with that. The studies done on fasting, there's some very interesting studies, show that insulin sensitivity is better with less frequent meal timing. You also have more benefits for people who are looking to lose body fat. They're finding that people who eat the same amount of calories in 1 or 2 meals a day versus lots of small meals throughout the day, they tend to do better. Again, we're splitting hairs here. Now, as far as recovery is concerned, I'm assuming you're talking about like your post-workout
Well, not only
window.
that, so I want to give some people some really basic examples of how I still used meal timing so much. I did it when I was competing and I was trying to add size and I needed to get lots of calories. And so timing a meal like right after a workout, my body was ready to absorb all that. I'm going to shuttle all that food in there, and then within another hour or 2, I was ready to eat another big meal. And so meal timing came into play a little bit for those reasons because I needed to eat so many meals and so many calories. I was eating 5,000 plus calories to maintain.
That's gonna be difficult to do in 2 meals.
Right, but then when I would go the opposite direction, when I'd start leaning out for a show, I'd actually totally skip meals. So where everyone talks about how important it is to get that anabolic window or get food in 30 minutes after your workout, the difference as far as building muscle is so small. There's much bigger rocks, like Sal was bringing up, incorporating intermittent fasting in there, making sure that your sleep is right. There's so many other factors.
Training.
Yeah, your programming. There's so many other big rocks that are going to make a huge difference than stressing over getting in something. And that's really, it's perpetuated by the supplement industry.
Right, it's overhyped, and I was just gonna bring that up because you see that all the time, like certain products come out just to address that anabolic window and feed into that sort of fear that you're gonna lose gains if you don't get this in quickly and get that like
It's kind of like putting a spoiler on a Pinto. So, I mean, will it have less air resistance? Will it potentially be a little bit faster of a car if you put a spoiler on
It's
it?
gonna look awesome.
Well, it will. I mean, it will. At the end of the day, like, it will improve, but the difference of improving, you're probably better off getting a new car or a bigger engine in there or fixing the tires or other things that are gonna make a much bigger difference in your overall gains.
Now, they've done studies on this, and they do find that it doesn't matter when you eat, you still replenish glycogen and you recover the same. Now, there are times when it is important to eat right after you train, and this is for athletes who have
Endurance.
multiple training sessions throughout the day. So if I train in the morning and I'm gonna train 5 hours later again in the same day, then I probably wanna eat something in between to replenish glycogen. But if you're like everybody else and you work out once a day, doesn't make a difference.
The only person I see it really relevant to, and why we call BS on it so much, is because it's perpetuated in the bodybuilding field and in the aesthetic, right? People that are trying to lose body fat or build muscle is where you hear it the most, and that's because of supplement companies. Where it has the most legs is in athletes. If there's anyone that is going to utilize meal timing, it's specific athletes that, like you said, are training multiple times a day, long endurance athletes. These people, the idea of meal timing makes a little more sense for them.
Well, because I mean, they're always in a position where they're trying to peak, whether it's performance on the field. They want to make sure that everything's timed right with their training, with their endurance, with their nutrition. So all those things come into factor a lot more with athletes.
Now, you may be wondering why supplement companies would want to promote the myth of meal timing or meal frequency or the post-workout anabolic window. Well, think of it this way. If I just finished my workout and it's hammered into my mind that I need to have something right after I'm done with my workout, the likelihood that I'm gonna have actual food with me is very small. I'm more likely to get myself a protein bar or a shake, which of course goes down to their bottom line. The same thing is true with small meals. If I believe that I need to have 6 small meals a day, the likelihood that 2 of those meals are gonna be meal replacement powders, shakes, or bars is much higher. And the supplement industry has proven this. As they continue to push this myth, their revenue goes up because people buy more and more of the products. The truth is, the bottom line, meal timing, if we were to list things in terms of importance, is so far down the list, it probably does almost nothing for you.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry about it.
Unless you've already built the engine, you've got great tires, it's a high performance vehicle already, and then you want to throw a spoiler on it. Then it makes sense because you've taken care of all the big rocks. So handle all the big rocks first before you even start stressing over something like that, especially if you're somebody that is just aesthetically driven, if you're just trying to reduce body fat or build muscle and you're not some sort of an endurance athlete or a sports athlete that's trying to maximize their performance. So that's pretty much it. Listen, every single week we're going to be dropping these questions. If you don't get the questions answered, below this post right here, list all your guys' questions, and then on the next video we'll pull from the list below.
Also, share this video with your friends because they'll like it.